Good evening and welcome to Left, Right and Centre. One of India's most wanted, the gangster Chhota Rajan, was arrested after a manhunt that spanned decades in Bali, Indonesia. This after a tip-off by the Australian police. Once a collaborator with Dawood Ibrahim in the 1993 serial blasts in Mumbai, Rajan fell out and many conspiracy theories over the years speculated he was being used to gather information in an attempt to eventually arrest Dawood. If true, what does Chhota Rajan's arrest mean for India's fight to get Dawood Ibrahim back on Indian soil and bring him to justice? Also, if the Indonesian police can act on an Interpol request for him, can others on India's most wanted list be far behind? Also on the show, the massive India-Africa summit in Delhi being billed as a single biggest collaborative event between the entire continent and India. It kicked off in the capital today. For countries that feel they never get their share of world attention unless there is a disaster, war or calamity, what does a summit like this mean? Is it going to be able to counter China's growing interests in the continent as well? All that on Left, Right and Centre. But first, of course, as we go to the arrest of Chhota Rajan in Indonesia, as we said, many say that he was instrumental. He was being used by Indian intelligence in the fight to get Dawood Ibrahim back. What does that mean today? And if so, could it be somebody else like Lalit Modi, for example, next?
Among India's most wanted, finally arrested, Underworld don Chhota Rajan picked up by Indonesian immigration authorities as he landed in Bali, a tip-off that came from the Interpol in Canberra, Australia.
छोटा राजन जिसके बारे में पहले से ही रेड कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी की जा चुकी थी और भारत सरकार प्रयत्नशील थी कि उसकी गिरफ्तारी होनी चाहिए। इंटरपोल को भी हम लोगों ने पहले से ही इस संबंध में रिक्वेस्ट कर रखी थी। तो जानकारी जो प्राप्त हुई है कि बाली में, इंडोनेशिया में छोटे राजन की गिरफ्तारी हुई है।
Indonesian Interpol claims Chhota Rajan departed from Sydney this morning by Garuda, Indonesia and was arrested after he landed at Bali's International Airport at Denpasar.
Murder, extortion, trafficking of drugs and smuggling. It was here in Mumbai that Chhota Rajan set up his base. He began in the 1970s by selling movie tickets in black and then went on to join hands with gangster Dawood Ibrahim. But after the 1993 serial blasts in Mumbai, the two gangsters split on communal lines, with Chhota Rajan proclaiming he, unlike Dawood, was a patriotic don.
In the year 2000, the D-gang failed in their attempt to kill Rajan in Bangkok, who then escaped but was seriously injured. It was also Rajan who ordered the assassination of senior crime journalist Jyotirmoy De in Mumbai and attacks on others like Baljit Parmar.
He's the person who left India to join the outback. He never went his own. He was not wanted at the time in India when he left India. Unlike Dawood, who was wanted in 3 cases and he left India for the way. I think he did something in Australia, prompting Australian authorities to go after him.
The 20-year-old hunt finally over. Chhota Rajan will be in Indonesia for the next 2 weeks and is likely to be deported back to India after that. But take a closer look at this photograph. Rajan posing before the camera, smiling after his arrest, almost as if he's vacationing in Bali. So is there really more than meets the eye? With Saurabh Gupta in Mumbai, Tejas Mehta for NDTV.
Well, joining us to talk about Chhota Rajan's arrest, what it means for the fight to get Dawood Ibrahim to justice, what it means for other most wanted of India. Does it mean that Interpol alerts will help foreign police bring in some of these other culprits as well? All that we're discussing on the show tonight. Joining me live from their various locations, former RNAW Chief A.S. Dulla joining us. Thanks very much, sir, for being on. Former Mumbai Police Commissioner M.N. Singh also joining us on the show tonight. We have a senior journalist who's tracked intelligence and crime for years, Praveen Swami, joining us from his residence. Also from the BJP, Shazia Ilmi, and from the Congress, Ajay Kumar coming on the show. Thanks very much, everyone, for being with us on today. Mr. Dullat, I'd like to actually open with you because many people say that Chhota Rajan was being used by Indian intelligence agencies in the fight to get Dawood Ibrahim, to gather information that could lead to an arrest or a criminal trial for Dawood Ibrahim. What now?
Well, you know, I don't know which year you're talking about and what this is, but if he was being used, then no harm there, but I'm not aware of it. And the question is that he has been wanted, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
And from what one gathers, of course, this is all very murky business, you know, you'll never get to the bottom of it for quite a while. But from what one gathers, this is a tip-off from the Australian intelligence, which has got him picked up. Of course, it's been well known that he has been operating in this area of Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, maybe Australia as well. And but he's getting on in age, and I suppose if he comes here, it would still be interesting interrogating him and getting whatever one can from him.
Okay, let's just bring in Emin Singh as well into this discussion. Mr. Dullat saying that it would certainly be useful for Indian intelligence and in fact the Mumbai police as well to be able to question Chhota Rajan. Undoubtedly, he's been wanted in several crimes linked to the underworld in Mumbai. But also, if you could comment on that photograph of Chhota Rajan's arrest that we saw. I mean, they seemed like they were actually smiling into the photograph. This had been predetermined, pre-planned, at least certainly from an image that doesn't seem to indicate the man was at all concerned about his arrest.
Well, I'm not seeing that photograph, so I'm not able to really see the whole background of it. But then let me tell you, to an extent, yes, his arrest, and if he is brought back to India and to Mumbai police, will certainly help the Mumbai police tackle the problem of organized crime in the city, particularly in the eastern suburbs, where he ruled the roost when he was active. He still has some remnants of his gang operating and indulging in extortions and running some illicit activities. But then Chhota Rajan is now, let me tell you, is a spent force. He is no longer as active and as he used to be. And much of his gang has disappeared after Bombay police cracked down on the Underworld. So he may be, I mean, the way you are describing the scenario at the airport in Bali, I mean, maybe it is just a very organized surrender kind of a thing when he will be brought back. After all, he is an aging, sick Don, and he has been virtually leading the life of a nomadic life, running from pillar to post, hiding, living in hidings, being tracked down by the Indian authorities, and also facing the threat from the rival gang of Dawood Ibrahim. And therefore, probably might have thought it's high time that he could return in the safety of the Indian prisons and spend the rest of his life here. I mean, I'm just guessing, because he is no longer as potent a threat to the law and order in the city as he used to be. Now, coming to the factor of whether he was being used by the intelligence authorities in India or not, well, as Mr. Dullat says, yes, I have also heard about it, but I have no confirmed information about it. But it's quite likely that probably he might have been. But then he has not proved to be of any use in all these 25 odd years that he is split from the Dawood gang. And therefore, now after his arrest, and if we are able to bring him back to India, I don't think he will be much of a help in tracking down Dawood Ibrahim. Dawood Ibrahim is another factor altogether.
Right.
And I don't think the Indian authorities will ever be able to get him. And I mean, I don't see any chance of Chhota Rajan being instrumental in getting him. He could have probably knocked down some of Dawood Ibrahim's gangsters, but then to reach up to the Dawood Ibrahim gang and leading to his arrest and all that, I see it as a mere myth and nothing
I
else.
want to just take that back to Mr. Dullat for a second before I bring in the rest of the panel. Sir, Emin Singh making the case that, you know, he's not going to be, he hasn't done much in order to sort of help Indian authorities get any closer to Dawood Ibrahim. So another conspiracy theory, if I may throw it out there today, saying that one of the reasons that arrest has taken place the way it has, and Chhota Rajan is smiling into the camera now is going to be coming back to India, is because at the end of the day, even his Indian handlers, if there are any, have decided that he's really not worth the effort anymore.
No, I don't think it has at this stage anything to do with the Indian handlers, but more likely that as he's getting on in age, he probably thinks, there's a shelf life for all this terrorism, gangsterism, whatever it is. And after a certain age, as Mr. Imam Singh said, it's running from pillar to post. It's better to come home and live in the comfort of some jail or whatever. And it's quite possible that he has surrendered and made a deal somewhere with somebody.
Right. Okay, Praveen Swami, let me bring you into this because in your experience of tracking crime, the underworld, terrorism and all the linkages there, how instrumental was Chhota Rajan in some of the crimes that took place, some of the strikes that took place? How significant in your view is this arrest?
Well, I agree with what both Mr. MN Singh and Mr. Dullat have said. Chhota Rajan was a creature of Mumbai in the 1980s and 90s when the mafia was deeply enmeshed with the city's business life, with its economy, with its political class. And things have changed. Things began to change after the 1993 bombings. And things have changed very substantially since.
But let me bring my political guests as well into this discussion. Shazia Ilmi and Ajay Kumar. Shazia, first to you. The one question many people were asking today is that, well, if based on an Interpol notice, foreign police has arrested Chhota Rajan and he's going to be brought back to India, can people like Lalit Modi be far behind, for example?
Well, I think it's a big day and a great day. He might be an ailing man, but the fact is that he was most wanted. There was a red corner notice out for him. Then there's been involved with murder, mobsterism, film finance, smuggling, extortion, more than 18 murders. If you look at 90s and late 90s, so it's less than 25 years. We're looking at Jindran murder, we're looking at Kurla murder, we're looking at Manish Lala's murder, we're looking at a threat to a whole lot of filmmakers, industrialists. So definitely it's a big chapter there, and he might be old and a spent force, but the fact is that he has been wanted in many a crime. So, and the fact that Interpol has acted, the fact that CBI as a nodal agency has been able to exert that kind of pressure, the very fact that it is being taken far more seriously, and I'm not just attributing it to this government, but the fact is we should all be happy, and the road is set for deportation one, and and the road is also set for criminals like Dawood Ibrahim to come in, for sure. As far as Lalit Modi is concerned, the question that you asked me, I think there are different kinds of crimes that we are talking about.
Right.
And also a light blue notice and not a red corner notice was given by UPA. And,
right.
And it was only in NDA's time and Narendra Modi's time that actually a red corner notice and a serious, even a blue notice was even considered.
Right.
So let's not go there. Right now is the time to discuss this, and I think it's closing of a big chapter.
Okay.
For the underworld, for the world of crime.
All
and
right.
people of Mumbai and all over India would see it as a big accomplishment.
All right. Okay. Let me just get Praveen back before I bring it to Ajay Kumar. Praveen, you were saying, you were talking about Chhota Rajan's value, so to speak, as a criminal, an international criminal, and his arrest today when the line got cut off.
Look, the fact of the matter is, this is just it's complete nonsense to talk about this in the context of targeting Dawood Ibrahim or a hunt for Dawood Ibrahim. There is no hunt for Dawood Ibrahim. Everyone knows where Dawood Ibrahim is. He's in a house in Karachi, and that's not something the Indian government says. That's something the US Treasury Department, every sort of independent research agency, every work of scholarship, every investigative account by Pakistani journalists said. The problem isn't looking for him. The problem is a nation state that has decided it wants to harbor him, right? And this, I agree with Mr. MN Singh that at one point there may have been, some utility in putting together leads, trying to locate Dawood in Karachi, but that time has long ago gone. What we have here is a creature of 80s Mumbai who knows a lot about the links between the city's elite, between its political class, and between the mafia in that critical period leading up to the 1993 bombings. And he'll also probably be able to tell us not a little bit new about what happened at the highest levels of the 93 bombings. Remember, he only reinvented himself as, if you like, a patriotic gangster in 1996, which was 3 years after the Mumbai bombings. This is a man who knows a lot of secrets, and I earnestly hope that he's not going to spend his time in a comfortable hospital bed in some VIP Mumbai hospital, and that the Mumbai police is actually going to be asking him some hard questions, because there are hard questions to be asked, and the answers, I suspect, will embarrass an awful lot of people.
Right, okay, all right. Ajay Kumar, come in on this because we haven't taken comments from you on his arrest. As Praveen's pointing out, that the hope now is that there is going to be some tough questioning that goes on of Chhota Rajan, that he's not going to be living comfortably now that he comes back to India.
Look, Maya, first of all, I just want to say I agree with Praveen and everybody else that Chhota Rajan is not such a big deal at all in terms of it, and his arrest itself seems like a walk-in. Despite Shazia and the Bharatiya Janata Party to try to make it sound as if it's a huge achievement. And just to make some factual correction, it was Australian police, at least in the public domain, which informed them. It doesn't prevent our government from, taking claims to it, but that's set aside.
Yeah.
The other issues on Lalit Modi is that the government of India keeps claiming they made a red corner notice. I just want to correct them that the Interpol has asked them questions. So as of now, the BJP government has not put in any red corner notice at all. So much so for the BJP claiming that, but it has not been, cleared. The Interpol has not issued a red corner notice. The aspect what Praveen says is absolutely spot on. Not only the elite,
not even discussing Lalit Modi.
Shazia,
that's right,
I was just factually correcting.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just factually correcting on Lalit Modi. So that's it. Yeah, the other issue is, I think Praveen correctly says that the important part is the elite connection, and irrespective of political connections across, even the police connections to a large extent, the law enforcement agencies and everything else in terms of will be very interesting, and we'll see how far the truth goes, but it's critically important. But most interesting part is as technology and as law enforcement gets more the integration of passport number, integration of red corner notices, it will become easier to at least arrest people of such profile who travel across international borders.
Yeah.
And like if Dawood Ibrahim Praveen said, stays put in Karachi, difficult. If he starts traveling out into some other country, then it's probably, that's where you can probably get him.